and welcome back to another match. Today we're checking out one of the matches from the two-pool show match that was just played, and it was absolutely stunning. So I had to pick one of the matches from the show match. It was a best of 7 overall, totally recommend checking out. It was between Secret and AM, and things are going to get a little bit confusing with the score, but I'll explain that in a minute essentially. So the idea behind two pools anyway, is that each team is allowed to pick one pool of civilizations for themselves, then their opponents pick a civilization of pools that team has to use. So basically you're going to end up with your primary picks and then the picks you never wanted, essentially. And then because it's a 2v2 tournament, you'll find they get to pick one civilization from the pool they wanted, then one civilization from the pool that their opponent picked for them, which is really cool. It gives a huge variety in terms of the civs and what we actually get to see in the game. So thanks so much for organizing this, everyone involved as always. I'll link everything in the description, of course, so please check out the rest of the games. Like I said, it was a best of 7. It was absolutely fantastic and it's worth watching. Watch this one, then go watch the rest. And like I said, I won't tell you which one this is in the series. When it comes up, you can just skip over it. But most importantly, just go watch it. It was phenomenal and support the scene. So, for AM, in the green, we do have Liereyy playing as the Italians. His ally in this game, in the blue, going to be Hera playing as the Lithuanians. Here's where it gets a little bit tricky. For Secret, in the yellow, we have Doubt. Doubt is, in fact, actually Viper. So, don't let it go. Viper actually played these matches. I've seen them live. He actually streamed it on his mixer, which is fantastic. Again, link in the description. Check him out. But more importantly, yellow is Viper, not Doubt. Just remember that, alright? We'll see if I can remember it. So we have TheViper in the yellow playing as the Vikings, part of Team Secret, and his ally in this match in red, going to be the man himself, Tatoh, playing as the Berbers. So, map is cross as well, if you haven't seen this map before. There's pools of water, or small lakes, I guess, in the side of the map. Very, very important that players kind of get into here nice and quickly, just because it means they can get that dock up and really push their economy. Generally, what we'll see kind of later towards the game, players will run across, so we'll see Tatoh dock here, hopefully Viper dock here, then we'd see Hera just up from his town center, he would dock in over here, then Liereyy put a dock up, yep, at the back. Later on, generally what we'll see is someone like Tatoh will try and sneak across if there's no walling, get up to here, try and put some fire ships out and knock all of Liereyy's fish out of the game, and basically the same thing between players. So essentially holding onto those pools is a huge investment, and at the same time you gain so much back out of it if your opponent does decide to push you there. That's going to be the big part of it. So we're going to slow things down a little bit here, and we're just going to check out the map for our players, see if anyone has a bit of a distinct advantage. Tato's gold, really not in the best place there. Going to be against this tree line, a little bit annoying for him. Not going to be able to get full saturation on it. Does have quite a few hills towards the back and side of his base as well, though, that said, can actually wall it off relatively easy if he chooses to. Just has to be very wary of all 3 of these gold piles. If Liereyy does push down here and decides to patrol this kind of area, it means Tatoh could be in a little bit of trouble when it comes to gold, just because he's got nothing around this side of the map here. Can still wall off around here, does have a stone pile up in the back, so in fact he's got 2 back stones, can really try and push for those camel archers if he decides to. As for Viper, he's got his gold on the front, not exactly the worst map in the world, but I've seen far better. He's just going to wall from the edge of the map across, hopefully wall up across this side here, and then back around here. If he can get over to this water line, that would be perfect too, because it means his fish are going to be in relatively good shape, and having Tatoh right next to him is not going to be worried about, I guess, Liereyy or potentially Hera running across the map at this point. Over for Hera. Hera, gold on the front, stone on the front. Does have a stone in the back though, which is quite nice. Is of course taking this pool up in towards the top. Tree lines, not bad, not great. Like, he's got this nice back one. In fact, he has a good back one over here as well. Will be forced to wall off. Hopefully walls off across here, so that way he can kind of hold on to this section over, I guess, all this extra section in the back to kind of boom up in if he does need it. Then extra gold here, stone in the back, berries in the back. Does have a hill in the back and a hill on the front. This could be a great situation here if we get Viper and we get Tatoh on here and able to push into Hera's base. Use this as a great staging point. As for Liereyy, he's got stone on the front. We've got, back gold, back This is a really nice map for Liereyy. If he gets this front section walled off, which Look, there is money involved. I am hoping he is going to wall this one. But Liereyy is kind of one of those players where if he just thinks he can be super aggressive, he's going to try and not really even think about the fact he has to wall and just put pressure on his opponent so he doesn't have to bother with it. So, Liereyy overall, Italians, what are we going to kind of see? Really good water map matchup for him in terms of the actual civilization. It's just a shame that we've only got these small pools, so most likely crossbows, maybe even knights, could see the transition there. Hera, though, playing the Lithuanians, most likely going to be going knights, so hopefully we see Liereyy just back it up with crossbows. We've got Viper, again, nearly called him Doubt. It's the Vikings, so again, quite good on water maps. Once they make it to Castle Age, they can get those war galleys out, but most likely going to see crossbow arbalest from him. Then Tatoh is the Berbers. I'm guessing a scout opening, probably into knights, maybe transition into camel, but at the same time, and camel archer. At the same time, though, 2 range units, really not the composition you're after. You need, like, at least 1 melee unit in there. So, ooh. We're going to see the kill on this. He's close, but no cigar, but very Liereyy, very Hera, very secret versus AM in general. AM just running around trying to find any kind of way they can get an advantage. At the same time, AM just looking for that pick every single time. And in fact, are we going to see... I'm not sure how we're going to see Secret Wall this up, actually. And look at this. Hera's got his full walls up. Doesn't want to miss out on anything. Lierey's just like, I'll deal with it later. So like I was saying, if we can see a castle come up from Tatoh, he could potentially go for camel archers, but in reality, not really something he wants, in my opinion. If he can stay to kind of that knight and just work as the bulk army for Viper's archers, that's really what he's after here. And look at this, Lierey's already pushing out across the map. He's got a spear, he's got an archer here. He's done alright with his scout coverage, so he's managed to take some health. Did lose a little bit over here, so it made it a little bit less accurate. But the spear should push that away, yep, super easily. And now look at this, he's going to be able to start keeping Tatoh open, which is the important part. So we can keep streaming these archers and spears across the map and really find a way for Tatoh to actually have to deal with this or lose quite a bit of... Look at this, he's having to send all these villagers. And this is what I was talking about, the idle time starting to stack up now. Tries to get... Here we are. It doesn't have the numbers to actually push the villagers back now. So it looks like these walls might come up for Tatoh. Liereyy, though, looking for something else. And get across. Getting a good engagement there on the spears as well. That's exactly what you want. The scouts just standing there. And we do have Tatoh throwing up that defensive watchtower. Not something you want, especially when there's archers under it trying to kill your villagers already. Might even actually be able to get a villager here if he's not careful. Tatoh, that could be one. There's one. Can't really... He can't engage this with scouts because of the spears. So he's using the villagers to fight the spears. The tower does come up, so it will push Liereyy away. But this is really good for Liereyy right now. He's managed to hold Tatoh back, which was the whole play. And it looks like Viper's going for those team walls as well. If he can get the wall down to here, he'll be in a relatively good spot. Hera is, though, looking for any kind of damage he can make now. Scout's doing a good job just trying to keep that one open, and they know they're going for the team wall now. Viper doing a good job with his archers and spears to push this one back. Throwing up a blacksmith, has gone for the double archery range. And Hera just being annoying like Hera does. Might even actually be able to run around here. If he can get around, he could potentially get the kill on the villager. And that looks like exactly what's going to happen here. Might not even lose a scout to the spear. Spear comes in and he's out of there. That was amazing play by Hera. Even, oh, look at this. The scout actually goes down on the gold mine as well. Hera playing this like an absolute gem. What have we got back at home? One stable. We've got the blacksmith there. We know what's up. Liereyy, did you go for? Yep, double archery blacksmith. And then Tatoh, we've just got the single stable. So it's looking very similar in terms of builds at the moment from both our teams. However, Hera and Liereyy are just kind of being a little bit more aggressive, and so far I'll say it's definitely paid off for them. And look at this, Liereyy knows he can't do any damage against Tatoh now, so he's over at Viper. And look at this, Team AM just have the numbers right now. They've got Tatoh and... Like, Tato's doing his best here. He's just got a couple of scouts kind of hanging out. We do have the same thing from Liereyy, moving in with a couple of his archers. We've got now Hera running around. He's trying to find anywhere else he can do some damage. Tries to block around here or a missive hotkey. And Market Foundation potentially could get a villager there on the lumber line. Spear comes in, he does get out of there. Doesn't want to lose any of those numbers. And look at this, Liereyy just cleaning up those archers from Viper. And just as quickly as that, Tatoh can't actually engage these units. Ooh, there we go. Gate's going to get finished, and the team wall is up. So if we have a look, Viper's wall from this section of the map down here, there is an opening here, so they can run through Viper's town center. And then we do have this market getting thrown up for Tatoh as well, who... So he might be wanting to go for a little bit of market abuse. But the big thing to see here, we do have both our AM players. We've got Hera and we've got Liereyy already up on the way to Castle Age. They're playing this really well. Really, really well. They've got every kind of advantage they could take without... Oh, man. Delays the market as well and gets a kill. This is what I'm talking about. All the little things that AM are doing now is just pulling them so far ahead in the long run. Let's have a look at those fish booms as well. Hera being extra greedy and even getting a dock down over on Lierey's pond. So, man, Hera's really going for those numbers now, which is nice to see. Tatoh, quite a few ships here as well. Did get the one defensive galley. Viper. Ooh, Viper going for a massive fish boom behind that one. Like, look at those numbers. We've got 16 fishing ship there from Viper. What do we got? We've got 10 fishing ships there from Tatoh. And I just don't want to miss anything on this. Sorry, guys. I'm just having a quick whip around. If we look on this side, we've got 11 fishing ships at the moment. Oh, man, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. These fishing ecos just make this map such a quick-paced game. And look at this. We've got Hera up into Castle Age. We should see knight production from him straight away. There we go. Double knights from 2 stables. We'll actually just go check that one out. So I've got stable here, stable here. Going for an extra town center behind this as well. Very Hera, very safe. Doesn't want to engage fully in the push. And, ooh, great play here by Viper. Actually manages to get the double house down. Forces them past the town center. It's a little bit of damages on those scouts, but... doesn't really get to pull it too much. The problem they're running into now is they're up against Castle Age Tech and Castle Age Economy. Like I was saying, Hera going for that town center is very Hera. It just means he's got something to fall back on should this push fail or not get them the numbers they want. And Liereyy, look at that, into crossbows now. Siege Workshop coming up aggressively for Hera. So they want to knock through here and really do any damage they can. Now's a great time for them to be pushing. Only the +1 armor currently on these guys. In fact, +2 just finished up then. So Hera in a good spot. They're going to be able to really do some damage here because I don't know if Tatoh has anything he can really support with right now. What's he going for? Stable, stable, stable. So going 3 stable knights, hopefully, behind this. Should be able to support it with the amount of fishing eco he does have. But more importantly, at the moment, we should see a mangonel. Yep, about to pop out for Hera. So he's going to be able to start pressuring these buildings, particularly knock out the blacksmith. Could even try and knock out the archers if he wants to. But most likely just going to push through these houses, get in and try and do some kind of damage. We have Watchtower coming up for Viper. He knows he needs to hold this one. Gets the own bodkin and crossbowman upgrade of his own. Tatoh just about on his way up to castle, and look at this, Liereyy has actually walled up his base. Just something I wanted to pay attention to, because I was saying earlier he might just go for full aggression, but it looks like he's gone aggressive, got himself into a good spot, got an advantage, and then built up behind that. We do have a university coming up for Viper, though, very quickly, actually. He wants that advantage. And Liereyy, do we go for any extra town centers? Extra town centers getting thrown up, so we do have one already in play. Second one is up, and it looks like the push just about to happen. Did we see Hera go for a third? Yes, we did. 1, 2, 3. Man, I missed all those clicks. 1, 2, 3. Alright, in comes the mangonel. Gonna push down that watchtower first, of course. May need the repairs on it. Of course, we are gonna see a little bit of difference in terms of range. 8+2 compared to the 7. And there's the repairs on top of the mangonel from the villager, so gonna be able to keep it alive. Once this tower's down, push through here relatively easy. And look at that, the knights from Hera as well, just about doing the job on their own. Alright, Tatoh, this is where Viper's really going to need your support. He's got good crossbow numbers. We've got 22, but the thing is, we've got Liereyy sitting here with his numbers as well, with, you know, upgraded knights, 2+2 armor. We've got bloodlines. No attack upgrades, though, but they will stack up really well against the crossbows, which is what matters here. So Viper's now been denied his main gold. I don't think he's actually started taking a secondary one, so that's where this issue starts to come in. Tatoh is starting to get into the situation here with knights of his own. He does have the upgrades, so we're looking very equal on that part. +1 did just come in, though, for Hera, so he's got a small advantage. The mangonels, though, that's where the damage is going to start to come from. All these military buildings can just be taken out now. And look at this, we've got... Oh, they're looking for a way to engage, but they're worried. Oh, Tatoh, this is just perfect. Jumps down on top of the mangonels. Hopefully we'll get the kills, and then just run back to Vipers. Yep, group of archers, or crossbows, I should say, at this point. And look at that. Hera and Liereyy actually forced out of here now. The numbers are too great for Team Secret, and the mangonel, of course, going to work very well to push this one away. And it's into basically right now, Secret need to push out. They need to find a way to do some damage. Look at this. We've got Tatoh moving out. He's looking for some way to do some damage now. In fact, there is a hole in the wall over here. It's just a matter of... It's probably a little bit too much to dive through there. Viper even throws up a town center on this goal to keep it well defended. Really smart play from him. And what are we looking for? Come on, Tatoh. What's the game plan here? Because there are walls all the way around the side. I guess he could try and bust in over here if he really wanted to. We did have an opening on this side. Looking for a way. Viper actually moving away from his base now too. This is the big part. We have the army of Team AM sitting right here on this hill, whereas Secret are about to change where the engagement is. If they can get, or I guess just push in through here, even utilize this hill, like I was saying, they'll be able to push in, do some kind of damage, And then Hera Liereyy will be forced to come back while basically Team Secret can run around, do as much damage as they really want to. Secret being a little bit of, not sure exactly what they want to go for again, but here we go. Hera Liereyy decide to make another push. Gonna be a little bit of a Mangonel war here, so we should see some Mangonel micro. Really get the hit, doesn't look like it's gonna be enough. But more importantly, here we go. We've got Tatoh diving down on the stable straight away, trying to push in through there. We're going to get the crossbows for Viper up on the hill here. Going to be able to push away these villagers repairing. Look at that. Hera forced to withdraw. And there we go. Hera and Liereyy are going to have to take the engagement here. Good news is they will be able to get up on the hill before any of the fighting really starts. Crossbows from Liereyy, trying to pick off a couple of knights where they can. The armor upgrades are there, and Tatoh even microing quite well there, trying to avoid as much as he can. And what have we got? This is really smart, really smart from Secret. I love the way they're going to camp this hill, make sure Liereyy and Hera can't really push back into this, and then we've got these couple of knights that are going off raiding for Tatoh. Hopefully they start to make a little bit of a difference. And look at that, denies a wood line, should be able to deny a second wood line. We've got the bulk of the knights in front of the crossbows here. Going to be able to try and hold this down as best as possible. And it looks like we do have Secret going in. They're going to have to find a way to kill some villagers because even with the crossbows and the knights, they can actually probably get out from the palisades here relatively easy. And knights jump down on top of the town center. Villagers get pulled away as well. Oh, this is really smart from Hera. Just pulling those villagers out of the way of harm, garrisoning up the town center as much as possible. And looks like he will get a couple of crossbows there. Again, knights in the lines just trying to do any damage they can. Hera is managing to clean it up. Did lose a couple of villagers there. Looked like it wasn't too much. Could have been far worse. We do have Liereyy on 81, 78 for Tatoh, 75 for a Viper, and 79 for Hera. So still all very even in terms of the villager counts here. And look at this, Viper again picking off as many of these knights as he can, trying to make it just impossible for Hera to really be able to engage it. Even bringing in extra units now. They're very committed to the push here. Throws up an extra lumber camp over here. And look at this, they're going to break their way out and just get out of the fight. Or do they want to take it against the crossbows? There's no supporting knights here at the moment from Hera. And look at this dance. Loses one knight, one crossbow, break the wall, and they're out of here. Big deal, though. We do have Hera up into Imperial. We have Liereyy on his way to Imperial. Viper's 10% of the way up. Tatoh, though, hasn't even clicked up yet. He's just trying to keep the knight production. This is where the technology makes things very hard. Of course, the use of trebuchets as well. I've always said they're an engagement maker, just because you can sit with your army and attack from range with trebuchet, do whatever damage you want, and your opponent is forced to come out and deal with you. Oh, there we go. We actually have Viper doing a good job just getting rid of some of these fishing ships. Really nice to see from him. Try and take out more of these military buildings and just, I guess, hold the aggression here on the front. Oh, this is bad, though, for Tatoh. Gonna lose a couple of knights here. Not really gonna be able to hold on to them. A huge amount getting chased there. That's gonna hurt. Just a couple of numbers that will be taken down as soon as they kind of get hurt with everything. I've just kept them highlighted down the bottom here so you can watch the main assault on the front and keep an idea on what happens to those knights. And yeah, they've all been taken out. That's an issue, especially for Tati. Let's have a look. Tati, what's he? He's got the resources to click up. It wasn't as bad as I was starting to think it was. I thought he might have just lost a whole bunch of knights, and then with those knights, basically had to replace them, have trouble getting up into Imperial, then it's basically just game over for AM. But look at this, Liereyy getting nice and aggressive, does drop a castle down right at the front of Tatoh's base, where all of his golds are. Remember this, 2 town centers. Tatoh responds by throwing his own castle down. We do have Liereyy on the hill, however, has his crossbows here, actually has a ram and a mangonel. Great help. But more importantly, Tatoh's here with the knights to try and really hold this one back. I don't know if he's going to be able to, though, because all it needs to be is, are we seeing trebuchets from Liereyy? We are indeed seeing trebuchets from Liereyy, so there you go, 1 trebuchet, sit it down probably here, just so it gets a hill advantage, take out that castle, as long as it's out of range, of course. I think we've got enough tiles between there, should be fine. But if they can get some army behind this, holding it's going to be a huge issue. And then look at this, they're readying a prep push against Viper as well. This is a 2-prong attack, and it's going to be... It's just going to isolate these players and make them really fend for themselves. Viper's army's all the way across the map at the moment. It's about to help out Tatoh, whereas the push is about to happen against Viper. They're going to catch him off guard here, and it's going to be a huge problem to deal with. We're still waiting on Viper to tech up into his full Imperial technology as well. There's the trebuchet I was talking about. Going to start damaging that castle, and should take it out relatively quickly now. Another trebuchet coming up behind this one. What are we looking at? I'm just checking at the moment, making sure we're not seeing anything from the flares. We do have Viper throwing down a castle on top of his gold spot here. He's seen the pushes that are starting to come in, so he knows what's up. Tatoh dives in on top of the trebuchet, should hopefully be able to get 2 here before they're killed off by these crossbows or arbalests. Now, look at the numbers of knights that are dying for that, but it will keep the castle up a little bit longer, which at the moment is what matters. We do have Hera, of course, up in a cavalier as well, getting all those extra bonuses. Oh, here we go. Arbalest coming in with Liereyy. It looks like they're starting to focus all of their attention down towards the army here. If Viper and Tatoh lose their army, this is pretty much over. The trebuchet is just going to continue to build up behind this castle, and they're going to have nothing to dive bomb on top of it like we saw from Tatoh before, where they kind of gained an extra couple of minutes before having to engage. Tatoh looks like he's waiting for Cavalier upgrade. Viper just getting those units out at the moment. And here's the big engagement. We've got the meat shield at the moment, pretty much doing nothing at the moment to help Viper out. All the arbalests are just focusing down the crossbows. The Cavalier cutting through the normal knights like butter, just soaking up. And look at this as well. They're soaking up the numbers here at the moment from Viper, so it means these crossbows or arbalests can just continue raining down absolute hell. We've got the trebuchet taking down the castle here, and it looks like Tato's going to lose all 3 of his golds on the front now. AM have played this absolutely beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. Come on, push back in. Viper loses his entire army. Tatoh just trying to get up now into some kind of technological area to play. But that is GG for AM. They played a remarkable series. Once again, this was the 2-pool show match. This was a best of 7. So please go check out the rest of the games. There'll be links in the description. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. And, you know, actually subscribe. That would be awesome. It gives me a lot of excuses to keep doing stuff like this. So we'll see you in the next game, guys.